It's Jazz and Beyond on 702 and Cape Talk with me, Nothemba. And of course, we come here for the jazz and then we stay for a good time. And today I'm very happy because, we have some artists who sing songs, others tell life stories through sound. And our next guest does both of these things so beautifully. And she's coming from the heart of Cape Town. And then she took herself to the jazz clubs of New York City. She's the award-winning and celebrated Melanie Scholtz. Hi, Melanie.
Oh my gosh, Sis Nothemba, what a gorgeous introduction. May I take that as a pre-record to all of my live shows? I'm really thrilled to be here. Thank you so much.
No, I'm happy to be talking to you again. In fact, I think we talked about with you on the show when Seven came out.
Yes,
Yes,
we
and
did.
you were in the US at the time.
Yes.
And I don't know why you also just decided you're going to impose some self exile and leave us alone in this country uh,
Oh
and
man.
go to Europe and the US. And now and again, you remember us and just come and pop in and like, hey, I'm here. How you doing? Bye. What's happening to you, Melanie?
Never
This
forgot.
globe-trotting business.
Yes, no, I mean that's part and parcel of what we do.
Mm.
Definitely miss home.
Oh,
Home is definitely in my heart. Doesn't matter where I am.
sure.
And you know, always great to come back. This time for UNISA as one of the adjudicators for the voice competition.
Yes.
And that's been super inspiring. If anything needs to get you in a more stable practice routine, it's a voice competition.
Honestly.
It's adjudicating a voice competition.
And I guess just being requested to do that was
100%.
was a very important thing for you.
Yes, and so it feels like a real full circle moment to come back,
Mm.
especially in this kind of capacity. I also picked up my very first South African Music Award
The
just
summer.
the other day.
Yes.
And that was an absolute thrill after 25 years,
Yes.
of being in the business. And, thanking you and so many other amazing DJs for playing the music, for having us on your shows, like from day one,
Yeah.
So, because we really are nothing without you guys. And of course, the fans who just waited, I think probably 10 long years for this album to come out.
To come out.
Yes.
But just for a moment, just staying on the adjudication thing.
Yes.
Considering you've been doing this for so many years,
Yes.
just paint a brief picture of the kind of talent you've been exposed to in this judging for UNISA
Unbelievable.
competition.
Of course, this is an international competition.
Yeah.
I am not at liberty to speak very much about it.
Sure.
I can really just speak quite generally because I am a member of the jury. Um, it's just been a life-changing moment to sit and listen to people from around the world and South Africa just represent themselves so incredibly authentically,
Mm.
using the art form of jazz, which we know not just in South Africa but all around the world, especially America,
Yeah.
is liberation music, is freedom music.
Sure.
So to be able to listen to this, for the past couple of days has felt like such a gift. Scatting up a storm. I've never heard more scatting in my entire
Wow.
life, and just of a
Ah.
very, very high quality.
Mm.
And yeah, I feel like, as South Africans, we have nothing to stand back for. We really are land of the voice.
Yeah.
We have a very special quality that cannot be duplicated or replicated.
True.
Yes. And
And we need to be proud of
yes,
it.
so that pride, that
Mm.
pride of who we are needs to really be celebrated. And I feel like, the whole world spotlight is on us. I really feel that in a big way with Piano, with Tyler, with Trevor Noah, with all of the people who are out there just on a global scale. We are ambassadors for our country. And so I
Mm.
feel like everyone that's been part of this competition has really been such a amazing ambassador
Yeah.
for where they've come from.
And just saying that, I also have a sense that South African artists and creators have become, they've sort of like come out of the shadows,
Yes.
and we have now realized actually we have so much to give and to
Yes.
share
Yes.
and to be proud of, and we are not under what you we're not less than anyone.
Oh, not at all.
We actually, the fact that people crave for what we have gives us all a sense of confidence and pride,
Yes.
and we're just now drawing from back into, our souls to, like,
Yes.
listen, if you thought that was good, let me show you, kind of
Yes,
thing.
yes. We're
Yeah.
able to dig deeper
Mm.
and to really, like, I always think, authenticity is really your superpower.
Yes.
So when you can allow yourself to be vulnerable enough to
Mm.
be authentic, then therein lies so much power. And that's what's really attractive, especially with music, because, you know, otherwise you can't make people feel something. If you can't allow yourself to feel something,
It's
how
very
can you expect others to
important.
feel something
And
from what you're
talking
trying to
about
create?
feeling something,
Yes,
the album Seven, for which
yes,
you got a summer award.
yes. Thank you
Congratulations,
so much. I
because I didn't have a
appreciate
chance to
it.
congratulate you.
Thank you.
That was quite a personal one because
Yes.
it had something to do with you're exiling yourself.
Yes, yes,
You're being in really just telling your personal story and
yes.
about living in New York.
Yes, just the non-glamorous version of that,
Mm.
because I think we always associate New York with Times Square and, Sex in the City and Carrie Bradshaw and running around in Manolo Blahniks. Um,
Yes, and also, people,
that's
when
not the real thing.
and normally when South African artists go to the US, we half expect to see you in the news on TV.
Yes.
You're hanging out with Beyonce or
Oh, wow.
somebody, and people forget
Yes,
that a lot of what we see and what we're exposed to
yes,
is driven so much by the industry there and the marketing that they
100%.
put to to sell who they want to
Yes,
sell,
yes,
and as a result we miss out on, as we're talking, the authentic and the
yes,
real
yes,
artistry of some great
yes,
musicians.
yes.
And unless you seek this out on your own,
Mm-hmm.
you'll just be, you know, uh, you just see the surface of what's
Yes,
brought to the surface
yes,
all the time, which
yes.
is driven by lots of money behind it.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
it really is a machine.
it is a
So if you're
machine.
not part of that machine,
Mm.
you have to have what I call grace or just divine luck.
Mhm.
And so I was very fortunate, that Seaton Hawkins, who's the program director of Jazz at Lincoln Center,
He is so
I mean, he's
great
phenomenal. Shout out
with
to you, Seaton.
with
And
with this promoting South African talent and artists. Is
yes.
amazing
And
at that.
so I think many of us, took a beautiful leap with him under his
Mm.
label Africa Arise. And of course his production company, his nonprofit, sorry, City of Gold.
Mm.
Um, and for him to, go together with Rope-a-Dope and, form something that was like, hey, we're gonna give you guys a couple of deals and, you know, make the albums that you would like to make.
Yes.
Firstly, I've always been an independent artist in that I've
Mm.
never really trusted labels. But because Seaton was involved, I knew that I got to keep my masters. I also knew that, the integrity of my artistry was not going to be compromised.
Yeah.
The only condition for making Seven was that it needed to have South African musicians. And of course,
Mm.
I was like, I would love to come home, and I willed it and willed it and willed it. And like I said, divine luck, I got booked for the Nerox gig.
Yeah.
And I was able to work with my original trio, which was Bokani Dyer, Marlon Vitboy, and Benjamin Jefter.
Mm.
And we recorded at Bra Steve's Dyer Tribe studio. And yeah, just, kind of laid everything down in one day.
Mm.
Did some vocals there as well, but I actually ended up doing a lot of the vocals in the backgrounds in New Jersey
Yeah.
at Arco Studios with Scott Kettner. And yeah, I mean,
And this is music you had written already that was just sitting there.
over the 7 years, yes.
Yeah.
And some of the interludes, I actually recorded in my bedroom just using Logic and my
Mm-hmm.
looping machine.
Okay.
So those kind of came towards the end as I really wanted the whole album to kind of read like a journal. I wanted
Mm.
people to feel like they knew me. And yeah, like I said, blood, sweat, and tears. Um, not forgotten dreams, but remembered dreams. Let me say that
Yeah.
because I think that New York makes you forget that you had dreams because you're in this grind mode
Mm.
all the time. Whether you're teaching, whether you're performing, you're in the survival mode. It's really, I always say that I'm a goldfish and I landed in a shark tank. And I always say that New York's a shark
It's a
tank.
Shark Tank.
And tough for goldfish to be there, but you learn to put up your fins and when you need to.
Mm.
And so a lot of those stories, like a lot of those interludes in between were very personal reflections.
Yeah.
Um,
It is a very competitive
yes.
environment, and kudos to you for
Thanks.
the survival mode that
Yes.
you are able to succeed in.
Thank you.
Well, one of my favorites is Benjamin.
Yes.
Because
Thank you.
you talk about the dollar,
Oh yeah.
and the dollar is I guess it's anywhere in the world
Yes.
talks about the dollar because it affects everybody in every
Yes.
way.
Yes. So
You
the
know.
all about the Benjamins.
Mm,
People you see them running themselves ragged for money.
yeah.
You know. Money's not everything, but it definitely, when you have it, it makes your life easier.
Sure.
And a lot of this album was just, like I said, divine luck. Having that lovely gig at Nerox and then being able to record the whole record and then Seaton coming on board and going, hey, so do you have a South African album? And I was like, I do, but it's definitely on the shelf and I need to,
Yeah.
finish it.
Yeah.
So it was a really a scramble to the finish line.
Mm,
But Rope Dope, Seaton, City of Gold, Africa Rise have been amazing.
yeah.
Um, they Seaton actually just renewed another 2 album deal for me under Africa Arise.
Fantastic.
So there's thanks. So there's more music coming.
Mm.
And yeah, I'm just always grateful to work with some amazing musicians
What is
for
also
sure.
just fascinating and that we are excited and happy about is that the likes of you and other South Africans who are based in the New York represent us so well.
Thank
And
you.
I love the work that you also do with the Lincoln Center,
Thank you.
touring and promoting South African music.
Yes, for
I
sure.
mean, working with Wynton Marsalis,
Yes.
who you've also worked with Kurt Erling. And
Yes.
I mean, like, oh, and then what more do people want? I mean, look, you're there with the cream of the creatives and the artists
For
in that
sure.
world, and what more must we ask of you? Really?
Thank you. That's very kind. I mean, for me, I really always feel like I don't do things for accolades,
Mm,
but I am very honored that this particular album at this particular time in my life,
mm,
got the recognition it did because it is a different time of life for me. Lots of changes, lots of familial changes. I lost my father about, probably 9 months ago now.
ah,
Um,
sorry, man, about
thank you
sorry.
so much.
Oof.
So, it kind of all of these beautiful things coming at a very pivotal time for me.
Mm,
And just I'm just sitting in a seat of gratitude and just I feel very inspired. I'm ready to get back in the studio. It's like you opening the tap.
yeah.
And for me, sis, and I've never um made an unintentional album.
Yes.
I always believe I'll rather wait for the right time because for me with Seven, I knew I wanted my original trio. Could I have recorded in the States?
Of
100%.
course.
But I wanted people who knew me to be like, wow, okay, this is what you've been through. And, Marlon and Benjamin, together as a rhythm section are just
Mm.
phenomenal.
They are
You know,
amazing musicians, and all of
yes.
them in their own individual
Yes,
rights are
capacity,
in it.
right? And
Exactly.
then I can't not talk about Bukani Daya because besides being a phenomenal musician in his own right and composer,
Mm.
I've always felt, a great kind of, kinship with him in terms of like, hey, he's completing my sentences in terms of music. We're always on the same page. So I just knew I didn't want to depart from that sound because we ended with our time. And then I, left. And yeah, like I said, it's been more than 10 years.
Yeah.
And I know the fans, I'm so grateful. Everyone who's ever listened to my music or, ever come to a gig, I do not take that for granted. And I'm so appreciative, really.
Look, I mean, just away from seven,
Yes.
just going back and tracing your musical career. You've had so many albums: the Connected, Living Standards, Our
Yes.
Time, Freedom
Freedom Strong.
Child. I'm way. I don't want to go to Sweet Nancy for now because that one is another special thing for me. But
Thank you.
also the fact that, I mean, you started, classical music and then jazz, and then you're doing all sorts of, different genres and different formats,
Yes.
and also just projects with Matthews where he does his poetry, and
Yes.
you do,
Yes.
you know, this explorative and freedom to venture into,
Yes.
and even this looping
Yes.
thing that
The
you,
lone looper.
yes, the lone looper. Um, what is it about that for you? You know that fulfills you. The fact that we are in a position to be anything at any time with anyone and anywhere
Wow, that's generous and kind of
and
you.
and anyhow.
That's very generous of you, and I thank you for the vote of confidence. Um, I don't really think about genre,
Mm,
I'm using that authenticity word again. It seems to be a big
yeah.
word for me. I think that if you step into anything authentically
Mm,
and you do your research and you really do your due diligence and you work hard to, you know, swim within that pond, then I think you are going to find like a new part of yourself,
mm.
and a new part of your voice. And so I don't think that I'm ever afraid to explore because I feel like that leads you to another part of yourself.
Because we, as humans, I'm not what I am today,
Oh,
tomorrow,
of course not.
or what I was yesterday.
Of course
We are
not.
continuously growing, evolving,
Yes,
learning, and all that has an impact of who we are
of
today and who
course.
we will be
Of
tomorrow.
course.
So really trying to put you into what you were as a 6 year old,
Yes.
to what you are in your 30s or 40s or any
Yes.
other.
Yes.
It's really ridiculous.
No, it is. And I mean, your musical tastes change.
Yeah.
And I was very fortunate, to grow up in a home that introduced me to some incredible music that
Mm.
just felt natural for me. And so all those colors and timbres of years gone by find their way into my music. And I'll be sitting either at a piano and I'll think, wow, why does this song kind of have a bit of a
Yeah.
Stevie Wonder or, or Roberta Flack or a Carole
Mm.
King
Yeah.
like essence to it, or an Alicia Keys,
For that matter.
because these are, all of my influences rolled
Mm.
up into one, and also a Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston, because
Mm.
when I was 16, that's what I was singing before jazz,
Yeah.
and before that, I was singing gospel in church. So, um, I don't think about genre as something like, oh, I'm going to do this kind of album now.
Mm.
It never occurs to me. I'm just like, oh, I really want to write something in that style because
Yeah.
I've been listening to a lot of Stevie Wonder or a lot of
And it's stuff you love.
yes, yes. and
Simple.
and I mean,
Yeah.
music kind of seeps in. I always think of us as sponges, and if you allow yourself, who you surround yourself with,
Yeah.
what you listen to, what you feed yourself with, that's going to affect you 110%.
Do you intentionally sometimes, or maybe all the time, uh, want to reflect of who Melanie Scholtz is from Cape Town?
110%. It's very important. You mentioned the word storyteller in the
Mm.
introduction, and I'm very proud and happy that you see me in that light because I've always loved artists who are able to do that. from Miriam Makeba to Mam Sibongile Kumalo to Abby Lincoln to Nina
Mm.
Simone. These
Mm.
are all to India Ari to Alicia Keys to Beyonce. These are all great, Stevie Wonder, great storytellers. And if we don't tell our own story, someone else is going to tell it for us.
Say that again.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And I think as, black and brown people the world over, we have really been under attack. That attack hasn't stopped.
Mm.
And so diasporally, we need to start telling our own stories and documenting them,
Mm.
collecting them for generations to come.
Yeah.
And so I find myself reflecting about, Melanie from Cape Town. Who is she? You
Mm.
know, um, I really want to return home, and I feel very privileged that I just started a new nonprofit called Primal Voice,
Oh.
and it's all about storytelling, healing through music and art education. And for me, since leaving South Africa, the past 8 years in New York have kind of shown me another modality. Um, and I am a visual artist now,
Yes.
specializing mainly in collage.
Mm.
And it's helped me tell another story. Yeah.
I love that, and you'll explain as to how your organization actually then does all that.
Yes.
And talking about the visual art part,
Yes.
um, I saw a video of you singing. I don't remember what song it was.
Yes.
I think either in your apartment in New York, and in
Yes.
the background
Yes.
you had some collages,
Yes.
and I
Yes.
recognize Hugh Masekela
Yes.
somewhere.
Yes. Yes.
Is that the visual kind of art you're talking
Yes,
about?
yes.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really I love collage. Why?
Mm.
Because it's such a great entry point for someone who's not a trained artist.
Yeah.
And I really fell in love with Harlem Renaissance and of course Ramar Bearden, who is the most famous collagist that ever lived. And
Mm.
so, his work, talking about black life and black neighborhoods with the block and just all of his very you know, poignant and real, depictions of Black life made me go, wow, I really want to embrace blackness more. I really want to embrace
Mm.
what our neighborhoods look like,
Yeah.
and whether it's through the medium of photography that becomes collage, whether it is, portraiture. I've done so many collages of, Mawini Mandela, um, Miles Davis, Yuma Sakela,
Mm.
Satima B. Benjamin, that I just wanted to celebrate us, you know.
Wow, beautiful. What do you do with them when you're done?
Well, I have an exhibit coming up
Ah,
when
you
I get
see
when I get
now.
home.
That's where we go.
I have an exhibit when I get home, and this is
Mm.
called Sugar in the Raw.
Oh,
Yes,
beautiful.
and it was inspired by um, just a quick tea at a coffee shop, and I looked at the sachet and
Mm.
it said sugar in the raw, and it's a special brand of sugar that happens in the States. It happens to be manufactured there. And I just started going down a rabbit hole and, discovered that besides cotton, picking, black people were also enslaved as sugarcane producers. And so I went down the
Ooh.
rabbit hole, and I think there's another African American artist called Kara Walker that
Mm.
many years ago had this beautiful exhibit with a giant sugar baby that she did, kind of in reaction to, slavery and how the sugar was produced by us. And
That is deep.
so I thought, why not do this?
That
And
is deep.
thanks. So I took the sugar packet and I was like, I'm going to make a print of this. So I made a print, and then that became the backdrop to a lot of the collages. The print
Mm.
was doctored in different ways, digitally, and then analog stuff pasted over it. And the whole thing is celebrating the ones who made the world sweeter. Yeah.
Mm. Wow.
And
Beautifully, positioned as well.
Oh, there we
Absolutely.
go. So it's very apt time.
Mm,
I wanted the whole exhibit to be very feministic because I do believe that
mm,
women of all walks of life um, carry the world, carry communities, and often get told, "Oh, you're the great woman behind the great man." So I wanted to showcase, you know,
how not behind.
no, we are
We
beside.
are.
We can either be beside,
Mm,
and I'm not saying that I want to be in front, but I definitely don't want to.
beside and we carry and
Yes,
we.
and we
Mm,
do it with love
yes.
because that is our God-given purpose on this planet, to be the yin to the
Mm,
yang. And right
mm,
now the world is so unbalanced because the yin and the yang are out of whack.
yeah.
And so I wanted to celebrate,
That.
and so there are quite a few portraits. Billie Holiday, um, Nina Simone, Mawini Mandela,
Mm,
who was the first one that I made.
mm,
Um, Angela Davis, Toni Morrison, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Who else? Yeah. So I've just, and then a couple of, images that, tie in with, the slave trade and also musically
mm.
what that meant, you
Yeah,
know.
because I was going to ask how that exhibition will be supported musically
Yes.
uh,
So of
as
course I'm doing
well.
one on Nina Simone, and of course Sugar in My Bowl
Mm, which
speaks to that,
speaks to that. And talking about women
Yes.
that you celebrate,
Yes.
you even went and recorded an album celebrating Nancy Wilson.
Love her. Yes.
Listen, she used to be one of my mom's favorites. So
Yes.
that's why I
She's
was
one of
like,
my
this
dad's
just
favorites, yeah.
really,
Mm-hmm.
and why she's special to you.
Nancy will always remind me of, me taking my father coffee in his man cave with all of his vinyls. And he knew I was into, at that point, Mariah Carey and Whitney Houston. I mean, I think I was 15 or 16.
Mm,
And I just started voice training actually at that point at the Eon group. So I was singing, Whitney and Mariah, but I was also singing opera.
mm,
And he was like, I'd bring him his tea and he'd be like, no, 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 sit down, listen to this. And because he played alto sax, he was always promoting, listen to some alto sax. So obviously Charlie Parker was his absolute favorite. So we'd listen to Charlie Parker and he's like, yeah, you have to remember, even though you're singing opera, you can now sing Donna Lee in the original key. You
of
can
course.
you can learn to sing like black music now.
Mm,
With
mm,
with even more facility. And so there was Charlie Parker, there was Sonny Stitt, there was Cannonball Adderley, and so he put on this vinyl, and out came this voice that absolutely stopped me in my tracks. And I picked up the LP, and of course, it had a white cover with her in a gorgeous yellow
dress.
fitted figure
Mm,
hugging dress, with her and Cannonball kind of having interplay on this LP. And I was like, "Who's this?" And he's like, "That's Nancy Wilson," and I was absolutely hooked. And
mm,
many years later, I didn't realize this, but people would come to me and say, "Oh, you kind of sound a little bit like her. You have a little bit of a similar color in some places." And I was like, "Wow, I'll take that." She's one of the greatest to ever do it. Ever
sure.
do it. So that's how I got introduced to Nancy, and the word storyteller comes up again because that's who she was too.
Yeah.
She was a
And I
supreme
mean,
storyteller.
and I was wondering actually when I was listening to it as to how you got to chose those particular tracks of hers,
Yes.
and you do absolute beautiful job. It is Melanie
Thank
singing
you.
Nancy. It's not
Thank you.
Melanie trying to be Nancy,
Not at all. Thank you for
which
that.
is so beautiful about it. I
Thank you.
mean, you do the very thought of you.
Yes.
All my tomorrows,
Mm-hmm.
even too late now. You
Yes.
do that so
Thank
beautifully.
you.
The old country, the shadow of your
Uh-huh.
smile. All these are some of a lot of people's favorites.
Yes.
And
Thank you.
how you intentionally wanted to be Melanie on this.
Oh, 100%. And I
Mm.
mean, I owe some of that, authenticity again, the A word, to the producer, Adonis Rose.
Adonis Rose. I mean, even getting
Yes.
Adonis Rose to record it, I'm like,
No, I was very fortunate.
this woman is fly.
I was very fortunate. And,
Mm.
he, after working with so many amazing vocalists, I mean, he worked with Kurt Elling, he worked with Dee Dee Bridgewater, he worked with
Mm.
um, Nina Freelon. So, he's
Oh
not just a
gosh.
drummer, he's
Of
also a composer, he's a producer, he's artistic director.
mm.
So, when I first came into the studio and I was like singing my lungs out on the one song,
Mm.
and he came into the booth and he was like, hey, like, we're not singing this to 5,000 people. He's like, just sing it to us here and sing it to yourself.
Oh.
Bring it right here, bring it
Mm.
close. And
Mm.
I said, but won't that be too sweet? And he's like, your voice is sweet and that's okay.
And you
you
can
know?
actually hear that because also
Thanks.
even with there's a clarity in your voice there. It's
Thank
like
you.
you're singing, you're sitting right in front of me.
Yes.
I love that approach in the production as well.
Yes, thank you. I mean, the
It
engineers
is
are phenomenal.
yeah.
Tim Stambow, when he knew that I was going to come record at his studio and it was going to be a Nancy project, he literally went and looked for vintage microphones that were from that era.
Oh wow.
And so it had a modern twist to it, but
Mm,
it definitely had that older sound to it. And I mean, I would
mm,
still love to release this on vinyl just for the sake of
yeah.
it being, just an older kind of interpretation.
You said your dad passed away nine
He
months
did.
ago.
He did.
Well, he was aware that this album was out.
Yes, he came.
Tell me about because
Yes.
I want to just get a sense of your relationship with your dad and
Yes.
how he felt about you actually now recording
Oh,
Nancy Wilson, who was so special to him too.
listen, just full circle moments.
Yeah.
I knew that he wasn't well. He wasn't well when he came to New York. It was his first time.
Mm.
He came for my birthday. Nancy's birthday, of course, is February 20th. Mine is the 25th. And we released on the 26th at Jazz at
Wow.
Lincoln Center at Dizzy's. And my parents were both there. And it was such a happy night.
Oh man.
And he got to watch both sets live with not the actual band, but Adonis came as well and played.
And played.
So it was really a momentous night. And obviously, you can watch this on YouTube. We recorded some of it on YouTube. If you want to revisit that night, there are definitely clips from it, and also full length first set, I think.
Mm.
But yes, it was such a full circle moment, and I don't know. I mean, I felt like I was really flying high, and I felt like, wow, my dad was so proud. He was like, you know, um, weeks after the launch, he'd come back to South Africa, and I feel like my dad was on his farewell tour, even though
Wow.
we didn't think that and know it at the time, because he
Mm.
came to see me, and then he came back to South Africa and saw all of our family here, and they went back to England where my parents had been living for like 20 years, and had a heart attack, and was in a coma for a couple of weeks. And I was fortunate enough to be at his bedside,
Mm.
almost until he passed.
Oh.
But those are just beautiful full circle moments that for me now live forever, etched in my memory. And
Mm.
I know that he's made a lot of things happen. There've been too many coincidences, serendipities.
Yeah.
And, he studied through UNISA and suddenly,
There you are, a judge at the music competition.
that's what I'm saying. So,
Mm.
just, and even like I said, bringing it back to this award, like I couldn't even believe it. I was just like, okay, we don't do things for accolades. I really, this wasn't, both albums were labors of love.
Mm.
And, you know, I promise you that I'm not going to wait as long to make the next two. And I feel like I am definitely the kind of person who likes working on more than one thing at the same time, which
Mm.
is crazy. But I will say that my father he was always the one, the cheerleader in my corner, driving me to singing lessons. I used to dance ballroom and Latin. He
Mm.
was taking me to ballroom and Latin classes, taking me to the dance competitions, us watching jazz shows together, listening to music. Like he was always the one, like with the finger on the pulse, like, hey, you got to check this person out. You got to check out Amy Winehouse. You got to check out Kurt Elling. You got to check out
Mm.
Esperanza Spalding. He was always like,
Mm.
finger on the pulse as to what I should be listening to.
There is no doubt that your dad was proud of you.
Oh, thank you.
I'm
Yeah.
sure you know that. He
Thank
probably
you.
told you 1,000 times.
Yes, thank
And
you.
also just you proud of him
Oh,
for being the dad that
a
he
hundred
was.
percent. I mean, I was just
To,
telling, someone, of the jury yesterday when we just sat and we relaxed after deliberation
mm,
that, UNISA is also an incredible organization for its pioneering in long distance learning.
yes.
And my father was a product of that long distance learning
Mm,
because he was a plumber by day, and then he'd collect his stuff from the post office, clean himself up, and then he'd sit with his books,
mm.
and became an English professor through UNISA. And so as a little girl, I grew up like knowing that nothing was impossible,
Be inspired by that.
inspired by resilience, hard
Mm,
work,
mm,
tenacity, and
mm.
discipline,
Yeah.
to come from one job where you're working all day to dusting yourself off and like, bam, you're
I'm
working on
sure
something
that
else.
also you incorporate because you also teach and mentor.
Yes,
And I'm sure those are the values and principles that you
yes,
want, your students to take
100%,
away from.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's funny you say that because I don't ever think that I wanted to end up being a teacher, but that kind of, just like music called me, teaching called me,
Mm.
and it started off as mentorship, which, I have to give a big shout out to Marlene LaRue and the Artscape crew, who really were the first people that I ended up working with, Artscape Youth Jazz, which has become such a, fundamental part of the jazz education system in Cape Town.
Mm.
So many amazing people come out of that. Benji and Marlon are both products of that. And Lana Kraust is a product of that.
Mm.
So many. Ramon Alexander comes out of that
Oh,
program as
yes.
well.
Mm.
So
And he's doing a lot of work,
exactly, and giving
in the
back.
giving back and the teaching as well and
And so
mentoring.
that Artscape Youth Jazz really left such an indelible mark. And so I feel like, I kind of inherited the teaching gene, and I'm not sorry for it. Of course, teaching is a very different animal. Um, it's kind of like being a doctor. You can listen to a voice and you can know what it needs to get to the next level.
Mm.
And I've been very fortunate to work with some incredible teachers myself: Virginia
Mm.
Davis, May Abramser, Angelo Gabato, Aviva Pelham, who just, from UCT opera days were just incredible. And then of course one of my besties and my vocal coach, Jeremy Quickfall, who I always kind of return to
Mm.
as a bit of a Mr. Miyagi, you know. So I feel
But
like, yeah, the teaching kind of found me.
I think also with teaching, you learn too.
Oh, 100%. Lately, it's so, like I said, there's so many, when there's synchronicities happening, it's a sign to pay attention.
Mm.
And the song du jour seems to be Landslide by Fleetwood Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And two students, totally unrelated, were like, oh, hey, I need to learn to sing this song. And I was like, okay. So God's bringing this song into my life.
For some reason.
And maybe I need to do a cover of this song, because why am I having to teach this to two separate students who are
Wow.
not even connected to each
To
other?
each other. There you go.
So,
Mm.
I think the Holy Spirit and, speaks to us in
Mm.
different ways. And for me, it's always through music.
Yeah.
And when something like that happens, I'm like, okay, let me pay attention. Let me
Mm.
revisit, yeah.
What has Melanie learnt about jazz from when you started
Mm-hmm.
to what it is now?
Yes. Well, the word that comes to mind is evolution.
Mm-hmm.
When I did my first standards album, Living Standards,
Yeah.
which was really such a melting pot and recorded in 3 different places in the world, and different colors, you know. It's evolution. It's me listening to myself in
Mm.
different times
Mm.
and going through different things in my life that, made me choose certain songs. And also different people that I worked with. So
Mm.
on Living Standards, I was working a lot with Johan Herlen, Martin Sjöstedt, from Stockholm Jazz Orchestra, having met them at National Arts Festival.
Mm.
And so that naturally became the direction I was going to go into. And they then brought in Shell Erman, who, bless his soul, is no longer with us. But, played with ABBA and to have a real organist. So I think also the people I was working with at the time dictated the kind of jazz that I was singing, and the evolution of that. I was working with a bass player from Norway, Hugh Skonsard. We eventually did a full-length album called Kindred, but we worked in the bass and voice idiom, and we did stuff like Portrait of Tracy, Jaco Pastorius, Carlo Mombelli's Requiem. So
Yeah.
just a bit more eclectic.
Yeah.
And
it actually brings me to very quickly as we start
yes,
wrap up,
yes,
the Lone Looper
yes,
project, where
yes,
now you even add technical elements into your musical,
yes.
being, so to
Yes,
speak. Yeah.
yes. So that really came out of survival. I didn't always have money
Mm.
to book someone to play for
Ah.
me in New York, and I was like,
Mm.
let me figure out this machine, and I ended up doing, in Czech Republic and Poland as well. I remember people just hiring me to play at a gallery,
Mm.
so I kind of felt like a vocal DJ in a way, And I still write a lot of vocal arrangements on the looping machine, and I use them now for teaching a cappella choirs.
Which is fantastic. In fact,
So
I remember when I was at, doing the jazz show at Metro FM, where
oh
you came
yes.
and performed live.
Yes, yes, Strong Bones live in your studio.
Yes, you were doing your looping thing, and
Yes,
I was
yes.
just fascinated
Yeah,
by
thank you so
it.
much.
But maybe lastly, where the fact that you live in New York, and I have an image in my head about all South African musicians who get to go there, either they are touring
Yes.
or what. No, do you get calls? Hey, we're in town. Can we hang out, or can we do a gig together? What happens? Is there a South African community, so to speak?
Well, I bring it back to Seaton because he's always the one bringing us all together.
Aha.
And so, you always get a call saying or text saying, hey, so Bra Steve is coming. Do you want to come watch the show? Or Bukani's playing, or Sisonke Konti's coming. Do you want to come and watch his debut at Dizzy's?
Mm.
There is very much a sense of community.
Fantastic.
And also, Brahma Koi and Khubata, and whenever they come, it's a beautiful thing. You feel very proud because it's
Mm.
a special sound
Yes.
carried across the ocean to meet American audiences who maybe haven't heard that modern South African sound. They might have heard Miriam and Brayu, but things have evolved since then. So it's nice.
Listen, congratulations on your summer
Thank you
and
so
all the
much.
awards that are still coming.
Thank you.
But I'm very happy to celebrate you here on Jazz and
Thank you
Beyond
so
on
much.
702.
Thank
and
you for
Cape
having
Talk.
me. Always amazing to
And I'm
be here.
sure the Cape Townians listening on Cape Talk are going to be very happy that they're well represented by you,
Thank
not
you.
only here on the show, but around the world
Thanks so
as
much.
well.
Appreciate
And all the
it.
best. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Come for the jazz and stay for the good times.
On Jazz and Beyond with Nothemba Madumo.
On 702 and Cape Talk.